Hey guys, it's Craig with MMA Fever. I just wanted to give my fight predictions for UFC 205 this weekend in Madison Square Garden in New York. It's very exciting, lots of exciting matchups, and let's just dive right into this. I have about just under an hour to record this and edit all of it, and this is the first video. I'm going to just go ahead and read off my notes here on my phone, and we'll just do a little one take of this, so it's not so it won't be so polished as I'd like it to be. But let's just get the ball rolling. Okay, so the first fight is Katlyn Chukajin and Liz Carmouche. Um, Chukajin's on a 15-fight win streak. It's only her second fight in the UFC. She's got a lot of momentum coming in. She's also the taller of the two fighters with the 2-inch reach advantage. Liz is the gorilla is I guess a veteran of the UFC at this point. She hasn't had a huge amount of success. She really needs this win. She's coming off of let's see, she's gone 2-3 since entering the octagon, so she really needs this win. Unfortunately, I just don't think it's enough. I think her power is her best strength here, but I just don't think she can stop the momentum that Katlyn's bringing into the cage. So I'm going to have to give this one to Chukajin by decision. Next up, we have Vicente Luke and Belal Muhammad. So Vicente lost his Ultimate Fighter finale fight, but he's won 3 times since then. You can expect a finish from him, most likely. 9 of his 10 wins come in the way of submission or TKO. Vicente is young and hungry and looking to build momentum on his 3-fight win streak. Whereas Muhammad is back on track after only losing 1 of his professional fights. He's a heavy-handed striker, and his most recent is a September win. So he's coming in fresh. If I had to give it to the two, I'm going to go with, remember the name, Belal Muhammad. Moving on, we have Thiago Alves against Jim Miller. It's kind of a tight matchup. I'm going to just go ahead and give the edge to Jim Miller here. When Thiago wins, it's scary, but he's been so inconsistent, and his prime was, a long time ago. And he hasn't fought in over a year, so ring rust should play a definite factor here. And he can't win big name fighters. I say Jim Miller's a bigger name at this point, but he lost to Carlos Condit, Martin Kampmann, Rick Story, John Fitch, and GSP, and hasn't been on a solid win streak since 2008. So with that, Jim Miller hasn't done a whole lot better. He's lost 4 of his last 8 fights since 2014. Not impressive numbers, but he's consistent in the octagon. You know what you're going to get from him. So I think Jim's going to pull out the win on this one. Probably a decision. All right, so next fight, Tim Boesch against Rafael Natal. Also another tough matchup to pick. His recent loss is he's carrying a fair amount of momentum. Natal winning 4 of his last 5. But I don't know if it's enough to beat Tim Boesch. That guy's scary. So it's the first time Tim Boesch has fought 2 times a year for the last 5 years. This is the first time he's going to be fighting for the 3rd time in 1 year. So he's staying relatively fresher than he's ever been. And he's a big threat. He's got all the KO power that he needs, and I think he's going to pull away with the first-round knockout on this one. All right, so we go into Tim Kennedy and Rashad Evans. I know this fight got canceled, but I was really looking forward to seeing Tim Kennedy murder someone. He's done. He needs to hang up the gloves. He lost to Ryan Bader. Ryan Bader's the white Phil Davis. He's just boring to watch. It's just not good. Let's see. Yeah, it's a horrible matchup. Let's see. Tim Kennedy, check this out. He may have lost to Yoel Romero, and I'll also try and forget that he lost to Jim Miller. Jason Miller. in 2007. But besides that, his only losses are to Ronaldo Souza and former middleweight champ Luke Rockhold, and that's it. Um, he has wins over former welterweight champion Robbie Lawler and current middleweight champion Michael Bisping. I think a lot of people sleep on Tim Kennedy, but I mean, he would have ran away with this one. So I guess it's better for Rashad, but I think Rashad should hang up the gloves. Next fight, Michael Johnson versus the Eagle. It's kind of a no-brainer. I mean, obviously, I'm going to choose the Eagle on this one, but he's coming off Michael Johnson's coming off impressive win, what seemed to be an unstoppable Dustin Poirier. Can he stop the unstoppable? No. His boxing's not enough to put away the combat Sambo King. And then the Eagle, while he's only fought once since 2014, he's got everything he needs to win a W this weekend. And I think that he will fight the winner of Conor McGregor, Eddie Alvarez, after they fight El Cucuy. So Eagle's going to have to sit on the shelf for a little bit longer if he wants that title shot. Jeremy Stephens is a star, make no mistake about it. He's on a winning buzz after defeating who is arguably the number one pound-for-pound fighter in Renan Barao. His drop down to featherweight seems to be a promising decision, but is it enough to stop Frankie Edgar? No, I don't think so. If he does, it's going to have to be like a clean knockout, and it just doesn't happen with Frankie Edgar. One thing you can't teach is to have heart, and Frankie Edgar has that in spades. Frankie Edgar should run away with the win on this one, whether he outpaces him, outpoints him, or gets a knockout. It's been a while since Frankie's put on some real power. I mean, I know he flash knocked out Chad Mendez. I don't want to say that's a fluke, but that's just not the normal Frankie Edgar fights that you'll see. So, I mean, I still give this to Frankie. Jeremy Stephens is a star. He can pull an upset here, but I doubt it. So I'm going to go with Frankie Edgar by decision. Next up, we have Miesha Tate versus Rocky Raquel Pennington. This is a really interesting matchup. Both of these girls fight dirty. I mean, they're dirty boxing. They're in the clinch. They scrap. They bang it out. It should be interesting, and you know, on such a big stage too. I really expect these two just to throw wild punches. I know Miesha Tate's been more conservative and more technical in her last outings. I think she kind of wants to get back in that scrap, you know. And I mean, if any upset gets pulled tonight, Rocky beats Miesha for an upset because you know, she's a grinder. It's Rocky at Madison Square Garden, and she's the underdog. I mean, it can't really get much better than that, at least for her. It should be a good fight. It should be a good scrap. I doubt Rocky will win. However, it would be quite the upset, and if any upset happens, I could see Rocky pulling it out at the end, you know, something like that, crazy flash knockout. She has the power, or, you know, I doubt she'll out-grapple Miesha, but if I was to bet on this, Miesha Tate by submission, second round. All right, next fight up, we've got Donald Cerrone against Kelvin Gastelum, and it's pretty disappointing. I'm pretty furious that Gastelum has missed weight and he's dropping the fight. There's rumors that Cerrone might fight Jorge Masvidal or Matt Brown at 206. Even possibly, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. There's people calling out for Cerrone to fight at 205 still. We'll see, but it's looking like Matt Brown is the new thing. But I had Cerrone to win this fight. I mean, Calvin's only lost two of his last fights, or two of his fights in his whole pro career, and that was against welterweight champion Tyrone Woodley and Neil Magny. And then Cerrone's only lost two of his last 14 fights, both to Rafael dos Anjos. And then the only loss before that was to Anthony Pettis with that body kick. So, yeah, I had Donald to win this one. I would have gone into it in more detail, but it's just disappointing. So next fight after that would be Yoel Romero against Chris Weidman, the All-American. This is a really cool fight. I really like this fight. Yoel, his powerful nickname matches his powerful physique, the Soldier of God. That power is his key to victory in the first round. If Yoel wants to be successful, he needs to use that explosive power to get the advantage over Chris Weidman. Otherwise, Chris Weidman's gonna walk away from him on the second round and the third round. His gas tank's better. He's just a better overall fighter. So Yoel really needs to play his cards to win in the first round. Otherwise, it's going to be a big uphill battle for him. I give this to Chris Weidman with let's do a third round KO for Weidman on this one. And then after Chris Weidman and Yoel Romero, we start our championship bouts. Poland versus Poland. Karolina I can't say her last name, Kowalkiewicz, and Jay Champ. So this is pretty easy, no brainer. If you're putting money on it, it's easy to pick Jay Champion. Karolina's supposed to be the better striker of the two. I've yet to see that. I mean, she did really good against Rose Namajunas. That's something she could put in her back pocket is that win, but I just don't see it being enough to take on such a dominant champion in Joanna. Joanna's in a different league of her own. She's above the rest, you know. So I'm gonna put a decision win on this. It's gonna be a hard-fought battle for both, but I see Jay Champ getting the decision after 5 very entertaining rounds. After that, we have Stephen Wonderboy Thompson against Tyrone Woodley. So, the time is now. Wonderboy is looking to not only dethrone the current champion Tyrone Woodley, he's looking to be the next longtime champion in the welterweight division. If Thompson can keep his distance with his karate background he's really good at, then he should be able to slow down the explosive champ and pull out the W. And new. So, yeah, I do pick Stephen Wonderboy Thompson to pull out the win in this. This won't be an easy fight for either competitor. Woodley is not as well-rounded or proficient in any one discipline. It's not going to be Woodley's night unless he can close this fight out fast like he did with Robbie Lawler. If Woodley allows Thompson to find rhythm and sort out his distance, it's all over for the chosen one. Either way, one of these fighters are going down in a KO for a championship victory. Yeah, this is going to end. It's not going to last all 5 rounds. I'm going to go with Wonderboy Thompson in the third round. With the KO. So, yeah, and new. And then he should be champion for a while. He's really rising and improving in every one of his fights. Next up, we have Eddie Alvarez against Conor McGregor in the main event for the lightweight championship. So, will Eddie be able to stop the hype train that is Conor McGregor? That hype train was not derailed by Diaz, specifically due to the weight they fought at and the fact that there was no full camp for McGregor in the first fight against Diaz. Conor's track record proves that when he trains for you, he wins. While I believe Eddie has not just the tools, but the heart to pull the upset in New York, the stars have been aligned for far too long to allow the kid from Philly to take it all away. It won't be easy for McGregor, but it won't be enough for Alvarez. So that says it as it is. You know, I'm picking Conor McGregor for this one. There's no doubt that McGregor is the real deal, that he can hold his own and be with the best of the best. When he fights on UFC's most historic event in Madison Square Garden, he will be fighting not only the strongest competition to date, but the best of the best in Eddie Alvarez. Conor looks to win. He will need to finish Alvarez in the first or second round. His gas tank, while has improved, cannot keep up with the lightweight champ in the later rounds. The biggest question is how Conor will fight at 155. He's fought at 155 before, and he's done well. So well that the UFC took him in. I believe this is the strongest weight class for him, but is his left hand and a better weight cut and improved gas tank enough to make history and become the first ever dual weight class champion? Yes, it is. I think, I don't know which one's the upset. Everyone loves Conor, but if, I really think that Alvarez is the better fighter, but the mindset that Conor has, and like I said, how the stars have been aligned for so long, everything's in Connor's court. It's all in his favor. So I really think if he can put the W on this weekend, it's going to be in the first 2 rounds with that left hand. All right, so that's it. This wasn't as clean of a video as I wanted to make. There's some image overlays that I wanted to use that I just don't have time to. It's the first video for the channel. Like, subscribe, comment if you want to. I'm going to be making more. They're going to get better. But yeah, this is the first of many to come. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.